Put your finger in the air, in the air. Put your finger in the air, in the air. Put your finger in the air and point it way up there. Put your finger in the air, in the air. Put your finger on your nose, on your nose. Put your finger on your nose, on your nose. Put your finger on your nose and see if it grows. Put your finger on your nose, on your nose. Hello, Mr. Gabe again with Groundwork Music, and today we're going to be learning a very popular melody and chord pattern. Maybe you recognize this song even if you've never heard the words before. This is a song I learned from Pete Seeger called Put Your Finger in the Air, but its melody belongs to another song. Let's see if we can recognize it. Listen to a little bit more of it. Put your finger on your nose, on your nose. Put your finger on your nose, on your nose. Put your finger on your nose and see if it grows. Put your finger on your nose, on your nose. Put your finger on your cheek, on your cheek. Put your finger on your cheek, on your cheek. Put your finger on your cheek and leave it there for a week. Put your finger on your cheek, on your cheek. That's right. It's if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Same melody, same chord progression, just different words. So this is very common in folk music. That's why I probably heard a different version from Pete Seeger that he probably heard from somebody that he probably changed to make his own way. And that's what we want you to be able to do, is learn a song, be able to pick it up and be able to put your own spin on it, maybe change the chords around, maybe just change the words around to continue this tradition of music. So this chord progression is very, very simple, and it's only going to take 3 chords that we probably already know how to do. So let's go ahead and make sure we know how to do the chords. They're probably the first 3 chords that you've learned. Let's take a look at our chord chart. Okay, so first up, we're going to need our C, which I think we probably all know by now. So if you don't, wiggle your 3rd finger and you're going to put it on the 3rd fret of your A string. That's your high C note. So that's what we're going to need mostly, is our C chord. Most of the song is in the C chord. And this is a 1-4-5 song, which is what a lot of blues and folk progressions are. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, but if you're ready, you can start looking at the chord chart to find out. So then we're going to need our G chord. A little bit more complicated. Go ahead and take a look. So the G chord, if you don't know, I try to think of it kind of like a sandwich. So what we can do is we have a little bracket back here and something going in front of it. It's easiest for me, I think, to build it from the bottom up. So what we're going to do is wiggle our 2nd finger, our middle finger, and put it on the 2nd fret of our A string. Then we're going to wiggle our 3rd finger and, like a little staircase, go on the 3rd finger, the 3rd fret of our E string. And then we're going to put our 1st finger also on the 2nd fret of our C string. So that means these 2 fingers are on the same fret. That means you might have to turn your hand. Instead of it being like this, you might have to turn your hand a little bit and just put this in the middle. Remember, when you're learning to play a chord, if it's getting a little coughing sound, like instead of a singing sound, make sure your fingers are in the middle of the fret and the fleshy part is pressing down, okay? So we could practice just going back and forth from our C to our G. From our C, 2, 3, 4, and G. 2, 3, 4, and C. 2, 3, 4, and G. 2. And you can see that my C and my G just kind of jump, because my 3rd finger kind of stays in the same fret position and it just jumps up a string and down a string. And then these fingers fall in and out of place. C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4. Great. So if that's a little sticky, I would suggest just practicing that exercise for songs, because you're definitely going to have to switch between those chords a lot. So you can just always practice that. Give yourself a 4 count. Give yourself an 8 count. Start to speed it up. And always, if you have a metronome at home, that's a great way to track your progress. Start with a slow beat and then slowly pick it up so that you can build up that stamina. And the other chord that we're going to need is our 4 chord. It's our F. So our F is our first finger of our first fret of our E string. It's our F note. And then our second finger on the second fret of our G string. So we can also practice going from C to F. Let's go ahead and try that. C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4. And while the third finger isn't involved, none of the same fingers are involved with both these chords. You can see that they're all in their starting position, meaning the third finger's in the 3rd fret and the first and second finger are in their frets respectively as well. So that means we can kind of hold our hand in one place for the whole song and we don't have to do too much moving around or worrying. We know we can leave it there. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at our chord pattern and figure out how to play If You're Happy and You Know It, otherwise known to me now as Put Your Finger in the Air. Okay, so this is broken down. We've got our first 4 chords, and then we've got our second 4 chords, but there's a little one where they split to give a little turnaround, and we're going to talk in a minute about what that means. So to keep it simple, we'll just do single strums with our 4 counts. So C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4 is our first part of the song. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Let's try that one more time. C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4. How about one more time and let's try to strum a little bit. C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4. One more time. C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4. Great, now let's practice the second half, then we'll put them all together to make the whole verse. So then we're going to go to our F. F, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, then a split. C, 2, G, 4, C, 2, 3, 4. So the C and G are sharing that for a little what we maybe call a turnaround or to put a little button on the end of that verse. So that part just means that instead of counting out 4, you can count 2 for each one. C, 2, G, 4, C, 2, 3, 4. So the whole thing will go like this. Let's try it twice. The second part. F, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, G, 4, C, 2, 3, 4. Again. F, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, G, 4, C, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Let's try the whole song. C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, G, 4, C, 2. One more time. C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, G, 4, C, 2, 3, 4. Who wants to try the actual song? If you're happy and you know it, let's try one verse. If you're happy and you know it. Sorry, I should give you a little counting, huh? 1, 2, here we go. Sometimes even I don't know the counting. 1, 2, here we. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, then your hands will really show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Or try my way again. Put your finger on your ear, on your ear. Put your finger on your ear, on your ear. Put your finger on your ear and leave it there a year. Put your finger on your ear, on your ear. Let's try it again. C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, G, 4, C, 2, 3, 4. Put your finger on your chin, on your chin. Put your finger on your chin, on your chin. Put your finger on your chin. That's where your food slips in. Put your finger on your chin, on your chin. All right. So now we know that, and you can always rewind or write this chord progression down. What if we want to know how to transpose this? So what does transpose mean? This is a little preview of what I'm going to be talking about for the next lesson. So we've got the chords, and that's great. But sometimes when you want to play with another musician, or you start to play to a record, they say, I don't want to play the song in C, which is your root key. They say, I want to play it in G, or I want to play it in D. So we're going to start learning from next lesson on a little bit of it. Let's take a little preview. So what if we used numbers to find out exactly what these chords are as far as how they relate to each other? If you look at our chord chart, and let's make it a little bit bigger. You can see that there's numbers here at the top, and it's giving us the relationship between them, right? So we've got our C is our 1. So when we're playing a song, usually the chord we start with, and definitely the chord that we know feels the best singing, is our home key, our root key for the song. So this song, like a lot of ukulele songs that we learn, is in C because it's a comfortable place to start for the ukulele. So now we want to know, like I said before, what was the pattern I said they use a lot in blues and rock and rhythm and folk? It's 1, 4, 5. Maybe not in that exact order, but those 3 chords moved around in some order. So we can see just from looking at this, the 1 is the C, the 4 is the F, and the 5 is the G. What does that mean? Well, if you were looking on a piano and you were looking at the C and you started going up and you went C as 1, D as 2, E as 3, F would be your 4, your 4th key, and G would be 5. So we're just going up a step each time. So let's go ahead and look at our pattern if it was numbers. Okay, so I have it right underneath here now, and you can see clearly. So we start with our 1. C, it's our 1. Then we go to our G, it's our 5. Then we play our 5, our G again. Then we go back to our C, it's our 1. Then we move to our F, and now it sounds a little different because we haven't heard that yet. Then to our C, which is our 1. Then we do a little button with our C, and our G, and our C. Or in numbers terms, it's C, 2, 3, 4. Oh, in numbers terms, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 5, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoa, that's a lot of numbers. But if you're ready to start thinking about it that way, it's a good time to start thinking about it because this will help you move. What if you wanted to play it in G? Okay, well, I'm just going to give you a little peek of what that would look like before next week. And then next week, maybe we can play this song in G together. So if I was playing it in G, it would sound like this. G, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, D, 4, G, 2, 3, 4. Something to think about. If you think you're ready for the challenge, start figuring out how to play it with different chord progressions. But for now, if you're just getting started on this, definitely go to the one we were doing, and we'll leave one last time. We can play it together in C. So let's find our Put your hand in the air, in the air. Put your hand in the air, in the air. Put your hand in the air and wave goodbye till later. Put your hand in the air, in the air. Keep practicing, and I'll see you next time.